Hello, I'm Zarkoon. This is World of Warships Legends. Today I've got a look at the USS Alabama for you, and I'm trying something that I thought was kind of interesting on it with this Justinian Lyon's the 13th guy. You see, he has Celestine's Blessing, which reduces the incoming damage to your battleship while damage control party is active by 40%. Now that's interesting, right? I wasn't sure exactly how it could be deployed, but then I thought, what if you're on fire and a torpedo's coming at you? You could pop damage control and then reduce torpedo damage by 40%. And what has pretty good torpedo damage reduction already, if not the Alabama? Of course, Justinian Lyon's is an American battleship commander. He's part of the Warhammer crossover event thing here. And, when I saw him initially and his set of skills, I was disappointed. It's a lot like William Sims, apart from the base trait, which, while I think damage control party or repair party is active, it's one of those two. The damage that your battleship puts out is increased by 2.5%, and the HE shells have a 20% extra chance to start a fire. So the base trait, pretty underwhelming, but Celestine's Blessing here, that skill allows me to not only survive this game, but to go on and contribute to my team's win. Early off here, we're going to get ourselves in a bad position, and had we not been running Celestine's Blessing on this ship, we would have died. I'll point that out when it comes. First, there's a Baltimore out there, and we're going to take a shot at him. We do hit him for a decent amount of armor-piercing penetration damage, 4K there or so, but we're going to need quite a bit more to take him down. Looks like he's come to a stop. A smoke screen has been deployed in front of him, no doubt by an enemy destroyer, and unfortunately, it's a Udachi, which of course has very, very painful torpedoes. There's the Udachi now. The rear guns have been sent the way of the Colorado. The Udachi will be our next target, since it is the biggest threat to us. And just as the guns reload, the Udachi disappears, so we switched to the next best target, which is of course the Baltimore. Nice dispersion there, and a disappointing result with 3 over-penetrations. The Baltimore gets to live a while longer. Now though, we are in a position where we can only turn one way, and doing so would probably see us expose broadside to the Colorado, so we don't want to turn that way too much. Sent another shot at the Baltimore, but he goes down before it can reach him. The Udachi is still in the Bravo cap. The cap is being flipped by an unsighted enemy, so he's lurking in here, waiting to pretty much kill me. And that makes me think I need to get out of here. So initially I think I was going to throw the ship in reverse, but ultimately I chose not to do that, and instead I chose to execute a turn at, of course, the complete wrong time, exposing broadside to the Colorado, who promptly citadels me. At least I'm pretty sure that was a citadel. So, that hurt. And we're actually outturning the turrets here, and we are not able to respond to the Colorado salvo with one of our own, at least not immediately. The guns are now reloaded and the salvo is out. We have beached ourselves on an island, so we're going to have to start reversing. Luckily, we've got more of an angle presented to the Colorado, and his next salvo hits us for, looks like, over-penetration damage only. We're going to respond to the Colorado with the rear guns again, continue to reverse here, but we know that the Udachi is still around here somewhere, and there could be torpedoes coming at any moment. There they are, we spot them, and pay close attention. 1 hits, damage control popped, 2 more hit in quick succession. Now, the numbers on that, the first torpedo did 14,000 damage, a little bit over that, closer to 15,000. And then the second 2 torpedoes that hit right after I popped the damage control hit for only 6,000 or so. When I was watching this over, I paused to see the numbers on the screen and I did the math. The second and third torpedo hits were actually about 45% of the damage of the very first one. So that's Celestine's blessing there, saving my ship. Had the other 2 torpedoes hit for full damage, assuming it was somewhere in the vicinity of 14,788, which is, I think, exactly what the first hit me for there. Had the other 2 done that kind of damage, I would be dead right now. But as it stands, Celestine's blessing grants my Alabama a second chance. Now, unfortunately, it looks like we are going to be sailing out of this cap. Yep, and we are not going to be able to take it. That would have been the ideal thing for us to do there. Instead, we're going to have to turn around. We are exposing broadside to the battleships again, or at least we're thinking about doing it. Kind of trying to make sure neither of them are aiming our way. If so, then we could easily die here, so bit of a risky turn, but seems like it's safe. The Richelieu is going behind island cover, which creates a barrier between me and him so no shells can reach me. The Colorado is angled away, but he's the only thing that is available to shoot at the moment. And we hit him for a decent amount of damage there and take out one of his guns. Some Udachi torpedoes just lost steam in front of us and disappeared. So the Udachi's still around, he's still thinking of us. We've managed to do 51,000 damage so far, which is, nothing great, but it's alright. Take a shot at the Richelieu, he goes down before the shells can reach him. What a disappointment, and the Udachi is back in the Bravo cap. So, I ping this cruiser for support and turn toward the cap. I think he denied my request there, which is unfortunate, given that he is much more capable of quickly killing an enemy destroyer than I am. Not to mention he comes equipped with sonar, which, that'd be pretty useful right now. Looks like I've got a friendly destroyer coming my way, though. So, hopefully that person would be able to help. There's some more Udachi torpedoes. Pretty wide launch there. He must have noticed that I was turning, and that second set is much closer. He pops up briefly. I think he accidentally sailed into detection range. I'm able to hit him twice and get 2 of those green defender ribbons, resetting his capture progress. And it looks like he may be sailing outside of the cap now, yes. Now there's the friendly destroyer. It's a Kagero on pretty low health, being gunned down by a lightning. That's probably not going to end well for our poor teammate there. And is the lightning going to do it and finish the Kagero off? Are we going to sail out of the cap again and fail to take it? Yep, at least on one count. And yes, on the second. Now the lightning comes around the corner and we blow him out of the water, giving us our first kill. That, of course, would not have been possible without the blessings of Celestine. A Gneisenau appears broadside in front of us. Gneisenau does not appear to know that we exist, so we are going to alert him to our presence by shooting at his broadside. Since we're using Celestine's Blessing and not Flammable Cannoneer, occasionally the dispersion is a little bit wild, at least more wild than what I'm used to, because I've been using Flammable Cannoneer on the Alabama and the Iowa for quite a while, and despite the fire penalty, or the fire chance starting penalty, the accuracy can be pretty tight most of the time. This is less consistent, but then occasionally you get wonderful shots with great dispersion like that. Unfortunately, the 6 shells that do hit for penetrations hit for over penetrations, which is a very disappointing salvo. We're at 77,000 damage now. 3 enemy ships left versus 4 of us. We do have both the cap and point advantage, so as long as nothing catastrophic happens, and as long as none of us die very quickly, then we are in a pretty solid position to win. Of course, things could change rapidly and it could still be anybody's game, but the enemy's going to have to sink one of us, and the longer they wait to do it, the more the points lead is going to grow. Another thing about not having Flammable Cannoneer and being blessed by Celestine instead is the range is not quite as great. So if I were running Flammable Cannoneer, I probably would have been able to hit that Richelieu. Couldn't there, though. The Gneisenau, according to the map, he's not going to come around the corner and present a flat broadside, which is what ideally I would have wanted. I'm going to turn the ship and move forward to try and engage him. He drops spot there, and then we reacquire him. He is pointed directly away and is now creating a bit of an angle. So if I aim up into his superstructure and get good dispersion, which that's actually excellent. We hit him really hard there for 10k, and one shot from one of our teammates should finish him off. There he goes. That just leaves the Udachi and the enemy Richelieu. Now I'm going to come around this corner and try to angle at the Richelieu, hoping that the Udachi will not be in a position to torpedo me, but of course, there he is. 4 kilometers away. So, begin to turn quickly to the right, cut the speed down, hit him pretty hard there, but it's not enough to finish him off. His first salvo of torpedoes does miss. The second hits for full damage. Celestine's Blessing is of no real use there, but it might have saved us from more damage from that Richelieu. It was still going, I think, as his shells hit. Friendly destroyer easily takes down the Richelieu, who was quite focused on me and did not anticipate that wall of skill coming to take him out of the game. Only the Udachi is left. We're going to spend the rest of the match trying to find him before we finally do. And I'll just give you a couple thoughts on Celestine's Blessing before we call it a game here. It's an interesting trait, perhaps not the most useful, definitely situational. In fact, as I've been playing a few games with it, I've found myself, in contrast to my usual desires while playing a battleship, I found myself wanting to be lit on fire, especially in situations where I know there is a torpedo threat present, because being lit on fire means that I can pop the damage control anytime I want, and when I spot torpedoes, if they're coming towards me and they look like they're going to hit, pop that damage control and probably save myself from dying, or at least save myself quite a bit of damage. Or of course, if you get situations in where you take or situations where you take a single torpedo, you can pop the damage control, and then it's running before more torpedoes hit you, as is the case in this game, then sometimes it can save your life. Is it worth actually purchasing the commander for it in the form of the Warhammer bundle? I don't think so. But if you want to buy a couple crates, try your luck, and you get him, you know, he might be something interesting to mess around with. Anyway, we take out the Udachi, get a Dreadnought medal for our trouble. The game ends. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't done that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.